Hello,
Hello,
Kim.
Karen. Hi. Hey. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Donna. Lovely to have you here. My first request is that between now and maybe the next one or the one after that, you share Positive Prime with somebody else and have them understand what it does for you and what it could potentially do for them, and bring them along to this meeting so that there's more and more people joining every single week, adding their gorgeous energy to us. So for those of you who don't know, I am the founder, creator, CEO, inventor of Positive Prime sessions. So yes, I created these beautiful things called Positive Prime sessions. And many years ago, given that I gathered a whole heap of clinically evaluated techniques and combined them into our formula, I knew in my heart that it worked. Intellectually, I also knew that Positive Prime sessions work. We've only just recently done some amazing scientific research that proves Positive Prime impacts your brain dynamics. But what does that mean? Well, it means that if you engage in viewing a session every single day, you're actually doing something super wonderful and beautiful and healthy for your brain, right? So I think that's worth it. For those of us who may be a little focused on preventing any cognitive decline, viewing a Positive Prime session every single day is a very good idea. So we know that viewing these sessions is actually good for you, and we've scientifically proven that. And that is just such a wonderful thing for me to be able to say. And so I actually have my Positive Prime session, what I call my super mix. My super mix, for those of you who don't know, after you've been with Positive Prime for a year, you actually receive a special gift from us as a birthday present, I suppose, as an annual, celebration. And it's your own super mix. So can you see, and I'll try and actually pause here. So I've got Aaron's session, Becoming Your Superhero, plus Jana's session, and that's actually Jana's brand, right? Plus, ready? Healthy and rewarding social connections. That's actually one of my sessions because I believe absolutely in the power of people, in connection, in community, in collaboration, in co-creation. And so I stay very concentrated in the knowing that nothing can actually be achieved without an extraordinary group of amazing people who are all in the same boat, rowing in the same directions. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this. So there's another session. So what happens with the super mix is the super mix allows you to choose about 5 or 6 of your favorite sessions. It could be 4 or 7. It doesn't really matter to us. You choose your favorite sessions and we mix and merge them together into one. So as you can see, I've also got I Am Grateful for You. And so this is your own personal super mix. And what happens with your own personal super mix is this is the one that I choose to very heavily personalize with all my own images. They're images that I've curated from different travel websites. It's got my, gratitude journal images. It's got my vision board images. It's got my own statements about what I want to achieve, how and why. And so a personal super mix is something, there's another one of Aaron's, is something that everybody can have as a gift for their first birthday. Oh, it's also got Success is Inevitable. That's another one of my sessions. And I, because I have a cardiac pacemaker in my chest, for those of you who don't know, I have a really bizarre autonomic nervous system disorder, which in fact is actually getting better. So I do an enormous range of very healthy things, supplements, good nutrition, great sleep hygiene, awesome Enagic Kangen water that's ionized. I live amongst a million trees. I'm loved by someone beautiful. I'm in a very healthy and happy relationship. I can go on and on and on. Guess what? I went to the clinic that's at the hospital for pacemakers, and they told me that more than 50% of my beats were powered by my pacemaker last year. In other words, my pacemaker actually has to just nudge my S node, say, hey, wake up, pump, right? And obviously we need pumping hearts to, be oxygenated and alive. Anyway, I went to the hospital a couple of weeks ago and they told me now that just over 30% of my heartbeats are actually activated by my pacemaker. That means I am dramatically improving overall everything systemically in all of my organs, which is almost impossible to actually be able to claim, particularly with respect to an autonomic nervous system disorder that's a neurological condition. Anyway, so I'm like thrilled. I am connected to the divine. I pray. I view lots of positive prime sessions regularly. I do the real emotional work, the real mental work, the real social work around improving everything in my life so that I don't have to deal with the really scary potential outcomes of my condition. So what I would say to you is that for me, the most important thing that makes my life worth living to me, and this is what I want to encourage for everybody else, is to decide what is not negotiable for you, right? What is it that you actually really and truly want for your life? And what I really truly want for my life is to spend time with wonderful people in amazing places. I love traveling. That's what's important to me, right? Now, I don't need to worry about whether I'm going to be judged by others about whether that's right or wrong. And some of you may have just seen that there was this image before I stopped sharing that was about the Amway logo. I've got lots of different logos in my positive prime sessions because I'll say a little prayer or a little incantation, as Tony Robbins calls it, or an affirmation, or I'll say something that says, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the amazing Amway distributors who are positive prime subscribers, who understand the power of positive prime and how it improves our performance and our ability as salespeople and leaders. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all those people at Amway who are positive prime subscribers and who share positive prime with their team members. But I might say the same for, let me give you another example, the International Spa Association. So I'll have a logo of iSpa. I have been a speaker at an iSpa event. Admittedly, it's decades ago now, but I might say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing me to connect with associations and organizations like the International Spa Association who support positive prime and who want to share positive prime with their members. Now, you could do this and instead of saying positive prime, or you could say positive prime, and maybe it's your own business. Right? So maybe you're a Norwex distributor, or maybe you're a speaker or an author. Maybe you're an author and you've actually just written your own book. What you could say is, if you uploaded some photographs of some of these logos, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The Amway leaders have come across my book called, and name it, and now they're sharing the value of it with their team members. And so what you can do is you're watching positive prime sessions, you're actually using it as this wonderful game that allows you to stay very focused on your goals, but also allows in the quantum field, a bit woo-woo, it allows this extra energy to potentially come and help you deliver on your own promises to yourself and achieve the goals that you want, accomplish the things that you want. Now, I must admit, I work so that I can travel. That's what's right for me. It might not be right for you, but that's what's right for me. And so when I see photographs that I have deliberately uploaded of destinations I want to go to, that reminds me why I'm working so hard. And so when I watch a positive prime session and I see all these magnificent places that I plan on going to in 2023 and 2024, and you know what? I'm going to tell you something absolutely beautiful as a story. I went to a spiritual energy healer many years ago, and she was a little bit psychic, and she said, oh, I think you've got connections to Egypt. And I think if you went to Egypt, you'd feel an energy there and you would really be very pleasantly surprised at how you belong there. Oh, all right. So I put that away. This is a long time ago, many years ago. And I thought, oh, okay, well, one day I'd really love to go to Egypt. And guess what? I've been searching and searching and searching for the right cruise for Cameron and I to go on next year. And I found, I was really looking at one particular brand, their cruises, their itineraries. And I was thinking, yes, we're going to do that. We're definitely going to do that. We're going to do that itinerary basically around the Mediterranean and the Adriatic Seas, right? So we're definitely going to do that. I'll tell you why. Next year I'm 50 and I want to do it as my grand celebration that I made it to 50, because a couple of years ago, definitely didn't look like I was going to make it to 50. Anyway, so I keep thinking to myself, Cameron out of the blue said to me something the other day, quite crazy. Oh, I really would love to go and see the Blue Mosque in Istanbul. I have photographs of these beautiful hotels on the Bosphorus, and I knew exactly what he was talking about. And it was like this seed was planted in the quantum field. On Sunday, by chance, there are never any circumstances that aren't pure coincidences with serendipity and synchronicity in the positive prime world, are there, right? Guess what happened? I found a cruise with an itinerary and I looked at it. It goes to Alexandria and it goes to Tel Aviv and it goes to Istanbul and it starts in Greece and it ends in Venice. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Right. Well, I started to read about the excursions, and one of the excursions is to go to the pyramids. And I thought, I have these images of Egypt. I went to a beautiful website that was about luxury hotels in Egypt or something else like that. And I've got all these photographs that I have uploaded, and I've been seeing all of these images of Egypt and of Istanbul and of Venice. And I've been to Venice before. Actually, I'm Venetian. Serafini is actually from the Venetian region, but way back when it was the Austrian and Hungarian Empire, right? So it was actually more like Serafini, or Seraphim's Angels, is really about an area in Russia that was used to be northern Italy way before there were borders, right? So anyway, I am astonished still to this day about how positive prime is the most remarkable manifestation tool. It just is. It's interesting to me, there's always divine timing. And I've noticed that all of my grand desires, they come about in really miraculous ways when I'm least expecting it. And something that's obscure and I wouldn't have planned it. It's that in the quantum field, it's actually been created for me and I stumble across it. So for those of you who've shown up here today, that was a little bit of a preamble for 15 minutes. I hope it's been worth it. Maybe it's encouraged you. Go to Google and put in boutique camping experiences in Mongolia, right? Now, are any one of us planning on going to Mongolia in 2023? Well, guess what? I've got a friend from the spa industry. His name's Dom, who's literally in Mongolia right now. There's a long story short, but he's doing a big project up there and he's actually got some business up there and he's back and forth up there and he's got an apartment and he's living there and everything else like that. And he's in his 70s and he used to be a very famous photographer. Anyway, I'm actually looking at all these images and I'll tell you, there's these images of yurts in the desert and these nomadic people and it's just so exotic. And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, Mongolia is going to be on my bucket list, right? And I'm going to make sure that I go there when Dom's there. And so as bizarre as it may seem to you, don't worry about when or how you're going to achieve something. Just go get the image, upload it into Positive Prime, into your personal collection, and integrate that into the viewing and allow God, allow your angels, allow the quantum field, allow your connections to somehow bring it about to you whilst you're actually in pursuit of living. Right? Cool, hey. I'll give you another example. I take photographs wherever I go, and wherever I go, sometimes I'll go and have a cocktail or a mocktail, a cup of tea, or, a meal, a breakfast or a lunch or a dinner or an afternoon tea or something like that at some of these exquisite places that I could never afford to stay at, right? Bob Proctor, bless his soul, he used to say this all the time: go write in your gratitude journal in the most expensive place you can find yourself and be in alignment with abundance, right? And actually, you don't need to be staying there. You don't need to be able to afford to have a grand dinner there with friends. Just be there, have a cup of tea. Most people can afford a cup of tea in some of these fancy places, and write in your gratitude journal and tap into the energy in that space. You could do the same at the Porsche dealership. You could go to the, fancy car mark. You could get in the car and you could actually, so long as you've got to be, just anchor yourself in this energy, feel what it feels like to be a passenger in a car like this. Maybe one day you'll get to own one, or maybe you'll actually discern for yourself that that's not important to you. No judgment. None of this is right or wrong. Nobody else has any say over whether it's okay for you to want or not want something luxurious or not. There's no materialism police out there, right? You can have whatever it is that you want, and you can justify it to yourself however you want, right? I think a lot of people who are in poverty or scarcity mentality make people who want to drive a Ferrari somehow shallow or selfish, whatever. If you go around judging other people, you are attracting people to judge you. You point the finger and 3 point back at you, right? Hey, isn't that the truth? Point the finger and 3 point back at you. What does that say? Oh, you are a selfish person. What is really the truth is you're a selfish person, right? We could do a whole class on that. How do you actually have an antidote to that venom? Watch Positive Prime, because in Positive Prime, you're not going to find any you are that's going to be detrimental or deleterious or nasty or, victimhood orientated or anything else like that, right? So anyway, here's a really quick story. The last time I was in Bali, I took my parents and Cameron to this beautiful hotel. It's called the Legian in Seminyak. And I took a photo. And I often upload photographs of what I've really appreciated. And it's my living gratitude journal inside my Positive Prime session. So I've got, my cat, my friends, photographs of gifts that have been given to me. And if I've been somewhere and I go, that was a wonderful, delicious, amazing experience. I'd like more of that. Yes, please, universe. Yes, please, God. Yes, please. So anyway, guess what? Because of the state of Bali at the moment, post-COVID, I'm actually going to stay at the Legian in Seminyak in a couple of weeks' time as a guest, as a gift. And I have had photographs of the Legian, photographs that I actually took from their official website, because they're photographs that are only seen by me in my private personal experience inside my Positive Prime account that's secure, right? And I've also got my own photographs of when I was at the Legian, and I took a photograph of this beautiful, absolutely magnificent floral arrangement. And I also, I could go on and on and on. Anyway, you're going to go off and you're going to have a look at the Legian. Well, I'll tell you something else that happened because many years ago, I used to run retreats in Bali for women, actually, mostly women. I did have a couple of men come to a few of them, but anyway, mostly women. And I run amazing retreats there that are all about blissing out and being fun and fabulous and playful. And there's a lot of deep, kind of very esoteric, weird, bizarre things like water purification ceremonies. But there's also, and yes, we can do some yoga, but we don't have to have, a fitness boot camp if we're not going to kill ourselves trying to get fitter. Do you know what I mean? It's like this very nice balance. A lot of people go to Bali for these retreats and they literally almost kill themselves because they've done some stupid fasting thing with some yoga retreat and they weren't even prepared for it, right? So anyway, many years ago, it has to have been more than 10 years ago, I've come back from one of my retreats and I've said to my niece, who's my goddaughter, my eldest niece, sweetie, one day I'll take you to Bali, maybe for your 18th birthday. She turned 18 a couple of weeks ago. And so about a few months ago, she said to me, hey, Kimbo, you know how you said you'd take me to Bali for my 18th? I'm like, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. So I say to Cameron that night, Cameron, I think that we've got to go to Bali in a couple of weeks' time because we've got to take Lucy for her 18th birthday gift. Like I did promise her and I've got to make good on my promises. Anyway, so I started to think about this, and then guess what? This extraordinary opportunity came up with the leggy arm. Well, I'll tell you something even more remarkable about that. The hippest hotel in Bali for 18-year-olds who want to partay, and if they're chic and insta cool, whatever that is, I'm so old and old fashioned, right? But anyway, is the W Hotel. You can go Google that, right? The W Hotel in Bali. And I'm looking at the prices and I'm thinking, no way, it's a Marriott, right? So no way I'm not spending that kind of money on Lucy's room as well as our room. Anyway, I happened to reach out to a friend of mine who I went to business school with, who coincidentally owns the most exclusive, expensive estate in Bali. Hey, da, 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 Lucy, you remember my brother's daughter, da, 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 you know, because my brother knows this man. Anyway, oh, guess what? He goes, oh, Kimbo, why don't you come and stay at my villa for mates rates? That's a very Aussie thing. I'm like, I nearly hyperventilated with excitement. I want you to all go Google this. It's called the Ungasam, Ungasam, the Ungasam. And you'll see that there's this beach club called Sundays, Sundays, Sundays. So why do I share these stories? Why waste your time listening? Because what I want you to know is I'm not a celebrity. I'm not rich. I don't get paid a fortune. And yet I am in vibrational alignment with abundance. And when you are pure and true to that, and you positively prime yourself with a whole heap of images that are way beyond your wildest imagination, excuse me, magic happens, miracles do. It's the truth. I am a living, breathing example of it. I will be taking photographs of when I am at Sundays with Lucy and Cameron and the Ungasan resort where we'll be staying. And I want you to all go, Kim, let's have a retreat there. I'm like, yeah, let's have a retreat there. If I could organize a retreat there at mates rates and none of you have to pay the full rack rate, oh my golly gusharama, now I could get excited. Right, anyway, I'll go do the recce. So please have some faith in Positive Prime being your partner in the manifestation journey. And know that without all the woo-woo, we have scientifically proven that Positive Prime impacts your brain dynamics. It puts you into a state of flow very rapidly and consistently and reliably. And it's so ridiculously affordable as a tool in terms of just that. So anybody who is trying to achieve anything, anybody working in a corporate job, any student who's facing any exams, right? Anybody who wants to be in a state of flow, any artist, any musician, any theatrical performance preparation should include Positive Prime. Flow is a state. It's very difficult to usually get into. So Positive Prime is an on-ramp into that, and we've scientifically proven it. What it means is you think more clearly in situations that you find yourself in after you've positively primed yourself. You make more accurate decisions faster. This has been proven. Like scientifically, the science around positive priming is a substantial area of science. It's amazing, right? It is truly amazing. So I would not turn up to a meeting that's going to be challenging without being positively primed. I would not turn up to a performance as a speaker without being positively primed. I do not show up for my day. I mean, I'm a bit like you. I can be buffeted by life's BS, right? People want stuff from me, customers, staff members, suppliers. If I don't center myself in Positive Prime, I can't usually be my most enlightened self feeling empowered in any of those situations. I just can't. So I will tell you also, just before we go, I watched Michael C. Pate's Sleep Easy. I'd been noticing that I wasn't really sleeping all that well. Michael C. Pate's Sleep Easy session, I watched it intentionally the other night, not last night, the night before, and guess what? I had the most amazing quality sleep. I woke up vibrant yesterday, ready to be in this mode where I'm flourishing and I'm thriving and I'm achieving. It was because I had a really restful sleep. And I think it absolutely was because of Michael C. Pate's session. I haven't watched it before I've gone to sleep for a long time. And I will tell you, I didn't watch it last night, and I tossed and I turned and I had all sorts of other palaver going on in my head, right? So what I will do again tonight is I'll watch Michael C. Pate's Sleep Easy. Does everybody know how you find a session inside the platform? Does everybody use the search? Yeah? Yeah, you do? Okay. Oh, no. Karen, would you like me to show you? Alrighty. You'd like me to give you a little guide around Positive Prime? Oh, okay. All right, let's share for a second. So as you can see on my other screen, I've had the session playing, and I usually allow my peripheral vision to see a session often, right? So I often have it playing even whilst I'm on the phone or I'm doing something else. I'm going to exit out of full screen. If I was going to go back to full screen, you can see it here. I have hearted this session. And so this session will appear over here in my sessions, right? Can you see over here to the left, my sessions? But let's just say I want to abort this and get out of here. Let's go back to the dashboard. It's going to immediately trigger. Now, because I'm on screen share and I've been watching the session for a long time, it's actually going to reset my account. So now I've gone back to dashboard and here I am. Let's just say I want to find Michael's session. I can put in Michael and see how it's here in the drop down. Sleep Easy by Michael C. Pate. But what if I didn't know that Michael was actually the person? And I could put in sleep and there's two. But let me tell you a little bit about these two people. So Michael C. Pate is actually somebody who is an accomplished, very well respected and admired hypnotherapist and he actually runs official sleep clinics at the hospitals, at the University Hospital in Ohio. And he actually specializes in sleep therapy for people who have had heart attacks, right? So they know that there's a very strong indication that people who have sleeping problems have heart problems as well. I don't know if you know that, but that's actually the truth. So anyway, Michael is engaged by the hospitals to run programs around helping people to get better quality sleep. So there's a whole course you can do on sleep hygiene. And in fact, I used to teach this as well. So I'm very hyper aware of when I don't get good quality sleep. So Michael is also somebody who trains and certifies and mentors other hypnotherapists. And Michael actually thinks that Positive Prime is one of the most powerful interventions he's ever come across. He didn't necessarily look at it from a brain dynamics perspective, but he absolutely sees it as a visual hypnosis. That's what he believes Positive Prime sessions are. Now, I would say always personalize your sessions. Always, always, always. At least add another couple of photographs of yourself. Your identity needs to be integrated into the content in order for the content to actually really start to play with your other than consciousness. And the brain needs novelty. And so I regularly upload new photographs. So you can see in here, these are some photographs I have, but I haven't uploaded any into this session. So this is actually a photo of me. I went away on a gorgeous weekend with my beautiful Cameron. That's Cameron. My cousin had a little baby a little while ago, so maybe I could put that in there. This is another photograph of me. This is Cameron and I. We went to a wedding and we did these really fun photographs. Maybe I want to go back to this place again. So I can just click these. Now let's just say I wanted all of these photos. I just select them all and now they're all going to appear. but I have uploaded lots and lots and lots of photographs over time. Lots and lots and lots of photographs over time. So if I go to last, I'm going to scare you all. Can you see here? I've got 189 pages of personal photos. 189 pages of personal photos. This is me when I was super young. This is in Sardinia, off the coast of Italy. So what I can tell you is that now I've selected all of this. The way that it gets saved into a session is you click play. And so now those images that I've selected, and I'm often happy, but sometimes I'm tired, sometimes I'm stressed. You know, being the CEO and the founder of Positive Prime is a very big deal these days. And so I don't know how else I'd operate in the world without a tool like this. So for those of you who don't know, you actually have control over the speed, slower or faster. I recommend that when you start a brand new session for the first time, you watch it on a slower speed 1 or 2 or 3. Really think about what it is that you're seeing. Every now and again, I might be watching a session and I could start by watching it quickly, but then I'll start to slow it down, right? And if I'm frazzled in my energy, it'll be the other way. I'll start slowly and I'll actually speed it up. Now I'm going to speed it up and I'm going to show you something about how amazing our technology is. Every single session is over 1,000 frames. And that means that's quite a lot for your internet and your device and our servers to deliver to tens of thousands of people around the world all the time. So if I'm going really fast and I'm on Zoom, right? Can you see the little turtle shows up? This is Poppy the turtle. Our technology can actually read the speed of your internet and your connection to your device and your Wi-Fi's connection to your actual main service provider and its connection to our servers. And so if we can't deliver to you at speed, what actually happens is Poppy shows up. You're about to see this. And it's pretty usual because I'm on Zoom and we've maxed out the capacity of my internet speed. So, oh, no, we're performing spectacularly well. That is just hilarious. My internet is usually so slow. So one of the things I can tell you is that Poppy will actually mediate. Poppy the turtle will actually interrupt and slow down your service depending upon your internet. And so you might not be able to go faster than speed 3. Now, let's just say you've only got 3 minutes. So you choose 3 minutes and now you want to see the whole session in 3 minutes. If your internet is not fast enough, this will not be possible. So it will actually effectively interrupt and it'll reprogram it and it'll deliver it to you at a speed at which it can. And that might mean it's going to take 5 minutes. Well, if you've only got 3 minutes and you don't have 5 minutes, what do? You go out of full screen and you just basically abort it and go back to the dashboard. However, in terms of having a session count as you having viewed it for your streaks, you must have watched for longer than 3 minutes. Do you hear me? You must have watched for longer than 3 minutes. And so I often put it on 5 minutes and I'll watch a session inside 5 minutes because I actually want the counter to recognize that I've actually viewed a Positive Prime session for the day. Now, when I watch my big, huge super mix, guess what? I can't possibly get through that, you know, and it count as one of the sessions that I'm viewing because a super mix is so massive. It's like, well, my super mix is over 10,000 frames, right? Okay, so the other thing that I really want to draw your attention to is very quickly a couple of other key features. So what we might do is we might go faster and get all the way to the end. And you'll see a lot of images are being delivered inside 2 seconds. And this 2 seconds is actually not 2 seconds because it hasn't gone down to 1 second, but it's because, quite frankly, the player can't catch up to the max speed, particularly whilst I'm on Zoom and I'm screen sharing. The internet's just not allowing it, right? So let's go back to the dashboard, shall we? I always feel a little bit better. let's just say you've been gifted a session by one of your coaches, right? Can you see how many sessions I've got here? Let's just say I'm going to choose a session that I know is not in the mix. Bear with me. Oh, I see Betty Norland's here. Naturally Recharge. Should we just watch Betty's for a moment? Hey. Hi, Betty.
Hey, Kim, great to be here.
Yeah, wow. I love it that you're here. I'm so happy to see your face. Do you know, you must be feeling an energy, because Jackie Simmons, who's also here, she and I were talking about me coming to Florida soon. Oh, I know. Look at your face. I know. Do you two know each other?
Not as well as we could, not as well as we will after tonight.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. You can send each other a private message, hey? So one of the things I just really want to draw your attention to is that in your subscription, if you're paying $199 a year, you have an opportunity to invite others. So I'm just going to go and click here on invite. You actually can share your account with up to 4 other people. So you put their email address in, their first name in, and you send them an invite. And when they actually receive the invitation, they will actually have their own account, and they will also be able to personalize their sessions, right? So if you're a subscriber, you have an opportunity to personalize sessions. And if you're not a subscriber, you don't. Here's one thing I definitely want to draw your attention to. It's called Coaching Pearls. We received the most beautiful email this week, actually, from a lady whose work actually pays $180 per session with her counselor. And so here in Australia, organizations in providing employee assistance programs often have psychologists and counselors and social workers available to employees, particularly if they're going through something extremely stressful inside or outside of work. She sent us an email saying that these very cute little these videos, they're either 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 minutes max. This one's 3 minutes, right? These particular little pieces, she thinks, she's been watching them every single day, one a day, they're delivered to you one a day, are worth more, and she's learned more and she's changed more since watching these coaching pearls than she has in all of the counseling sessions that she's paid $180 each to. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love receiving emails like that. I really do. What I would say, if you don't know about this, we have a getting started area. For what it's worth, I actually think there's pretty good value. Oh, that's me. That's obviously me with my hair done. If you haven't seen this, there's a free PDF guide here so you can get a little bit more out of it. This is actually a session that teaches you about positive prime, right? It's got very annoying music. I might ask me to change that music. So anyway, it actually teaches you about positive prime. So I would go to this getting started area and watch this positive prime session if I was you. The other thing is that there is actually an area called free resources. You open it up, right? From here, it will literally open up another page, and there are lots of little baby short videos for you, right? And on here, Mayumi is just about to add something, which is a link to a playlist on YouTube where there are really short little videos you can watch. Watching these short little videos might help you get much more or the most out of positive prime. So I would definitely suggest you do that. And then the other thing that I would draw your attention to, I think that this is one of the best areas. Excuse me, it's called stories. It'll open it up in a new session. These are the most fantastic, inspiring stories. They're video vodcasts. Anyway, so we have interviewed, Benny and I have interviewed, in this case, Barry McGowan or Christine Taylor and or Linda. Jackie's here. Jana, Aaron, amazing, amazing stories, right? So I would, if I was looking for a little bit of extra, I'd definitely go and listen to some of these amazing stories. For example, Professor Stephen G. Post is one of the most extraordinary human beings on the entire planet, in my opinion. even His Holiness the Dalai Lama thinks that Stephen is one of the greatest philosophers of our time. This is actually Stephen's session. He is the founder of something called the Institute for Research on Unlimited Love. He's one of the most significant contributors to the fields of positive psychology and undoubtedly dementia and Alzheimer's. He's just written a new book. He actually heads up ethics and all sorts of things at, let me think, Stony Brook University these days. He was the dean of the School of Medicine at Cleveland, Ohio for a while. Anyway, so you can read the story and or you can basically watch the interview with Stephen. So there's all of these stories that we have available to you. And these are, of course, some of the people that we've worked with who have sessions inside Positive Prime. Woohoo, hey? All righty. Guess what? That was my next call. I've gone 12 minutes over, 13 minutes over. I really don't want to leave you if you've got a question that you really wanted me to answer. Anybody got something desperate they want to ask me before I go?
I have a quickie.
Okay, go.
Okay. I want the backyard redone. So do I just post my backyard or do I post like a bobcat in my backyard?
I
Or a
love
new
that
yard?
question. Okay, I would do a little bit of both. I would go and find photographs. Here in Australia, Monty Don's Gardens, which is a BBC show from England, is often on our TVs on, public air. I think you call it PBS, but anyway, whatever. I would go to some websites and I would get some photographs. You can right click and save some photographs from website, amazing gardens that inspire you. What I would do, however, is I would go out into your garden and I would take very artistic photos of that which you're grateful about your garden. So the more grateful you are for your garden prior to it actually being transformed means that you're in the energy of being really grateful for your garden, which means you're much more likely to bring about a better quality outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah, grooving. Got it.
And absolutely, I would definitely, if you've already chosen some contractors and or you know how you're going to get it done, I've actually, long before I could afford some gardeners, I actually went and found some photographs of some gardening services and I actually uploaded them and I would just say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, as if I'm talking to, I don't know, my higher self. Thank you for everything that has happened so that I now have an amazing gardener or gardeners that I really, really, really think do an amazing job. And we had a couple of false starts. We had a couple of gardeners who just weren't all that fantastic. We've got a gardener now who's absolutely wonderful, very productive, very efficient, very effective, self-directed, amazing, amazing, amazing. I wonder if I hadn't have had all those photographs of gardeners and gardening services in my Positive Prime session, whether that would have, I mean, I'll tell you, I've got 1,000 stories. I uploaded some photographs of these saucepans and then I saw them on sale and I just so happened, I would never have been going that way. And all of a sudden the saucepans I wanted were on sale. Like if that's not some answers to some prayers, I don't know what is. I really wanted a stick vacuum, but I could never justify to myself a stick vacuum. And then I found out I had enough points in a loyalty program for one. Right?
There you go.
Yeah. I think it's about a process of getting clear about what it is you want and why it is that you want that and allowing yourself and giving yourself permission. So if you've got a little bit of a problem around allowing yourself, go and watch Mastering Magic and Surrendering and Letting Go.
Watch what? Can't write that fast.
Surrendering and Letting Go is another one of those sessions.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for showing up,
you.
Betty. Love that. Jackie Simmons and I are just about to have a meeting, aren't we? So I will see you over on WhatsApp in a minute. Yay, thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kim.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Karen, for being with us. Thanks, Manon.